Hey, what's up, y'all? The wife kicked me off the porch, so I'm here in the chicken area. Thought I'd respond to your comments. We're over 4,000 views. That's pretty awesome. I didn't, you know, that's cool. I'm glad y'all watched and enjoyed. But I figured I would just go over some of your comments because there's a couple of repeated ones. A couple of people saying the same kind of thing, and there's some good and bad, whatever. So we're just gonna respond to comments. So let's get started. This is, I don't have it sorted by anything, by like most popular or by newest or anything like that. This is just kind of how it's just displaying right now. So we got from Cavalier Survivalist. I think this video is more to convince himself he bought the right rifle than us. Personally, I could not be any happier with my 20-inch SFAR. Good luck with your rifle, buddy. Good luck with yours, man. That's fine. This is a recurring theme. This, I think the video is more to convince himself he bought the right rifle than us. It's not. It really. I kind of got like way too deep into the like shitting on the SFAR. That really wasn't the point of the whole point of the video was the weird disparity of coverage. Like, there's just so many more videos on the SFAR than the Rogue by like major channels, and I don't know why. And in the videos that like prompted me to do this, like military arms channels, just up like Nut and Fancy, a lot of guys, they put out these videos on the SFAR, and they purposely, or I mean, I'm not in anyone's head. I don't know why they did what they did, but a lot of videos happened to conflate the Rogue and the Revolution. Like Military Arms Channel, when he was talking about the SFAR, he brought up, he was like, a lot of people will compare this to the Rogue or the Revolution, and he would compare the SFAR to the Revolution, and that's what all these channels did. They all say, oh, it's the Revolution, it's clearly the obvious competitor to this, but they wouldn't mention the Rogue, and so they would always say like the Rev is $3,000, but the SFAR is only $1,000, so obvious winner. But that's obviously not the competition the Rogue is, and the Rogue is only $2,000. I mentioned in that video that like the price had gone up, and I thought it was just like the aftermarket, the aftermarket on Gunbroker and whatnot, but it wasn't. I checked Pop's page after making that video, and the MSRP, the from Pop MSRP, has gone up to $2,000. It was $1,800. They've raised the price, so that's interesting. But anyways, I'm going to address all these. He did this video to convince him, not us. I'm going to address all those at once because there's like 10 people saying that same kind of thing. Ozark Phoenix says, both are great rifles. I looked at the Rogue before I settled on the SFAR. Both have had their fair share of issues with certain owners, which is true. A lot of people talk about the Rogue's jamming and failure to extract issues. The SFAR has had a crap load of issues. There are tons of videos. If you just search Ruger SFAR malfunction, whatever, you'll see tons of videos. Like it's a new format. The AR-15 sized 308. This is a new format, and both guns and several other guns, they're all having the same issues. It's hard cracking that nut. The gas seems to be a big problem. And that was another reason I made the original video, because everyone seemed to think that this was like unique to the Rogue, but it's not. Hop, TFB TV's Hopophile. Hi, Bessie. He had to send his, and he's a big, name. He had to send his SFAR back to Ruger, and they sent him a new gun, basically, because that gun wasn't working at all. The whole AR-15 size bolt shooting a 308 is just new ground, so there's going to be growing pains. That's just how it is with innovation. Bang for the buck, SFAR hands down, being honest and not being a fanboy. Well, I mean, out of the box, yes, but it seems like a lot of people getting SFARs, like Hop, to use him as an example again, immediately throw in a new trigger. That's a pretty widespread one. And Hop put on a new handguard and a new stock, and like, it seems like you got to throw a lot of money into the SFAR to get it up past, the minimum that it ships with. You know what I mean? So the money gap is not as big as you would think at first blush, because the Rogue doesn't need anything out of the box. I haven't replaced. I've added to the Rogue, but I haven't replaced a single thing it came with. Muzzle device. That was another thing Hop changed. He changed the muzzle device, the handguard, the trigger, and the buttstock. So you're at least like $500 right there, right? So I don't know. It seems like a Civic with a big spoiler on it kind of situation. You know what I mean? Like you're kind of buying the crappy base unit that you spice up with a bunch of aftermarket stuff, whereas the Rogue is just ready to go out of the box. Doesn't really need modification. Still the same comment, Ozark Phoenix. 600 rounds through the SFAR, not one issue. Awesome. Congrats, dude. BCG still looks mint, barrel squeaky clean, and sub MOA at 100 yards with off-the-shelf 150 grain Federal power shock. Right on, man. I'm glad it's working out for you. Cool. For all of you, like, honest to God, the purpose of the video wasn't to shit on the SFAR. That's just kind of how it went, but really it was about the disparity of coverage and the weird, almost purposeful miscomparison using the Rev instead of the Rogue. That was the main issue of the video, but I just started going down on the SFAR, which so many of you mentioned. I haven't even shot. I don't own one, but we'll get to that. All right. I commented, I said that, I'm happy that's working out for you. And he said there are actually more videos and write-ups on the Rogue. That's not true. Not even a little bit. Look it up. Type SFAR into YouTube and Rogue into YouTube and see which one you get more of. There's 1,000 videos on the SFAR, and hardly anyone has covered the Rogue. Alabama Arsenal made a great video on the Rogue. That's a cool channel. They do a lot of suppressor work and a lot of great channel, but they did a good video on the Rogue, and he was like his point of his video was he was like look, Rogue is kind of better than the Rev, for $1,000 less, you're still getting basically the same gun. You just don't get the anti-safety. and it's lighter, the Rogue is. Okay. This guy obviously is living in his POF dreamland. I am very happy with it. I enjoyed this review, mostly because I feel like I was listening to a buddy at work in the break room talking shit. Like when you get tired of perfectly produced adult films and you end up watching just regular people do it. The thing is a piece of shit, had me rolling. As I said in my response to him, I'm happy to occupy the amateur porn segment of YouTube. I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. That was what you said, like listening to a buddy in the break room. That's what I'm going for. I'm not obviously, produced at all. I don't care about. I have no intention of being a YouTuber. I'm a very, very happy truck driver. That's why I'm only putting this out a month and a half later. I really did it because I got to 4,000 views, which is crazy to me. But yeah, I'm just looking for a casual vibe, man. I'm not trying to. I'm just making videos because I just like doing this. I'm not trying to be all slick. Don't you think those shooting montages at the beginning of a lot of videos are kind of cringe? It's like, come on, man. The Bears says your Rogue. That's a paragraph and a half. Your Rogue's a nice looking gun. My budget was 2K. So either I buy a Rogue and it stays there naked for a while, or I get the SFAR and throw 1,000 in accessories on that day. Perfectly valid argument. I understand that. I got the Ruger. 3 range trips, 0 malfunctions, not falling apart. It's been really fun. That's awesome. That's great. I'm glad you're enjoying your gun. I agree with you. I don't know why these gun troopers are so high on the SFAR. It's strange, is it not? I have plenty of other stuff for long range, mid range, close quarters, even hand to hand if it comes to that. I'm going to disagree with you saying the Rogue is a piece of, or Ruger is a piece of shit. Yeah, I went in too hard on the rifle itself, which was not the point. Is it great? No. Is it a whole lot of fun for less than $1,000? Yes, absolutely, 100%. Might even look at the MCX. Am I the only person that has like no interest in the Spear? I just don't get that thing, man. It's price aside, even though it is like stupendously, ridiculously expensive for no reason. Price aside, it just looks like I don't know. I'm not into it. It's heavy. Fire some new caliber that's kind of not good at anything. I don't know. We went back and forth a bit, and he said it's hard to not get emotional about big purchases. No one wants to admit they're wrong. Oh no, that's me saying that, Paul. But yeah, I think I'll get to that. Steve's Woodworking Homestead says the reason they compare it to the, he meant to say revolution, but he says revaluation, is the adjustable gas block. I mean, that's fair, I guess. The whole suppressor thing. Be happy with what you have. I'm going SFAR for the win. That's fair. I mean, I don't think that's why most people are doing it, but that would be a fair point. I'd agree with you, since the Rogue doesn't have the adjustable gas block out the gate, but the Rev does and the SFAR does. That's a fair point. I don't think that's why people are doing it, but that would be a fair point. Yeah, because the Dictator is a couple $100 to throw on the Rogue. I don't know. I don't have my can yet, so I don't know if I'm going to need it or not. We'll see. Sabertooth Defense Systems. Testing and tuning the POF as we speak. With normal 150, I'm averaging 1 away. Blah, blah, blah. So far, mine doesn't like this build. Cheap, blah, blah, blah. But it barely cycles. A nice normal ammo. Barely spitting the rounds out with gas block. Yeah, it's and I just said to him, you know, try 168 grain, because that's what POF told me to use, and I haven't had any problems with it since I switched to that. And he said he's going to try it out. So, you know, hopefully it works out for him. I was in the same boat. I tried some cheap M80 ball and that Freedom Munitions 155 grain, and the gun really didn't like those things. It would jam once a mag. Failure to extract. It wouldn't jam. It would fail to extract. It's just not enough gas. But ever since switching to 168, I've never had a problem with it since. The Rogue, our back end says the Rogue is lighter and has a better trigger. True. Love the side charger. But my SFAR is getting groups like yours at 100 yards. Great. I'm getting 3/4 MOA to 1 MOA. Plus the SFAR barrel will outlive yours by 4 times. I don't know about that. I don't know any reason to think that. A lot of people are very confused, are misinformed on the barrels of both. Unless yours has nitride coating. It does not. It's stainless. I have 150 rounds through it. Not a problem so far. My glass is a Vortex 1-8. Very happy camper with SFAR. Great. Great. That's awesome. The SFAR barrel outliving yours by 4 times. So you're saying that, like, thinking that maybe outside barrel diameter, I guess, is like a factor in barrel longevity? It's not. It's the inside of the barrel. Because, like, if the SFAR is say a heavy profile, and the Rogue is a medium profile, which it is. A lot of people think it's a pencil. There's like 5 people saying it's got a pencil profile. It doesn't. Like it just doesn't. You're wrong. I'm sorry. It's a medium profile. There's no tapering of any kind. But anyways, the interior of the barrel that wears out, not the outside. The heavier barrel on the outside just helps, you know, with whip and making it heavier. This guy, he's just saying that why he went with Vortex. Oh, and okay, the one that was coated and had hardly anywhere, and the other barrel was about shot. No, all right, all right. Is the SFAR barrel nitride coated? If it is, cool. I mean, Fubu says I've got an M1A, an RFB, and assembled a Palmetto AR-10 from a kit. I wanted something lighter than all three and didn't want to spend the coin. I handled the POF, but it was out of my range. Found out about the SFAR, and that was closer. I jumped the gun. With experience of my sample, the extractor needs an O-ring. It failed to extract just once. The gas key with only one screw is a little bit sketchy. These are things about the SFAR he's saying. To be honest, I like it out of the box. Seems wearing the gas. Out of all four of my 308s, my go-to in order would be the Palmetto State, the M1A, the SFAR, and then the Kel-Tec. That's too bad. I was really heavily, strongly considering the RFB. Actually, I forgot to mention that in my previous video when I was talking about like what I was considering, the tread and the whatever. I don't remember. But the RFB I was actually looking at too because I'm very interested in bullpups. I've never fired one, but it can't. You know, the length is just inarguable, and I don't like the idea. I'm not into short barrel stuff. I have no interest. I don't like 5.56 at all, and I have even less interest in 5.56 out of a shorty barrel. I just don't see a situation where I wouldn't rather 300 black over 5.56, short or long. If you're doing some SPR bullshit, I'd rather take 300 supers. That's just me. I said I want an M1A so bad, and I do. M1As are so hot, man. Jack Morrow says, so weird. I agree with you. If I wanted a lightweight AR-10, it would be the Rogue, 100%. I have a Palmetto State 20-inch heavy barrel, and it's a crew-served weapon. I was a 19 Echo 20 tanker, M45 Alpha 5 and M60 Alpha 1. Old school tanker. That's awesome, dude. Right on. I never gotten to sit in a 60 at Knox. I did my basic at Fort Knox, my OSIT at Fort Knox, and they have a couple M60s like on concrete pads that you run by, but I've never gotten to sit in one. They look cool. I really like the profile of the M60. It's a cool looking tank, man. Glad you enjoyed the video. That's cool. It's funny. It's a crew served heavy barrel 20-inch. That's funny. Right on, bro. Glad you enjoyed the video. Nice to have another tanker around. 19 Echo 20. Now we're 19 kilos. 19 Echo 20. I wonder if that's the designation, like I'm technically a 19 kilo 4, which is an Abrams. If you were 19 kilo Romeo 4, which happened to a couple guys I did basic with, 19 kilo Romeo 4 at a basic, you would get sent up to is it Fort Wilson? It's some fort up in Washington State, and they became striker drivers. I would be furious if I signed up to be an Abrams guy, and they're like, "No, you're driving strikers." I'd be so mad. And that was a coin flip that I got lucky. I went to Fort Carson, 4th ID. I have trade again. Thanks. Good to see another tanker. Thank you for your comment. Trey Jackson says, I have the Rogue as well. Love it. Right at 1.2 MOA and easy out to 800 yards. I have a 3 to 18 on top of it. And he and I got into a little conversation because I was also considering a 3 to 18. I was looking at the Vortex Strike Eagle or Loophole. Has like a 3.5 to 18. The 5 HD or 5S or whatever it is. But that's awesome that he's taking it out to 800, no problem, and it's nice and accurate for him. I'm kind of off the 3 to 18 MPVO because I want to get the primary arms, their PLX 1 to 8 compact, that really light one. I want to get that and put it in that scope switch deal, because I really feel like the benefit of the Rogue, if you don't want to just focus entirely on light, what its base weight of 5.9 pounds gives you is budget, is an allowance to add on things like the side charger and the scope switch, where you can have a bipod on there, and it doesn't have to necessarily be QD because the base gun is already so light that you have a lot of weight budget. But that's cool. And all right, so this next guy, the same topic, Top Guns, says, I've got a Loophole VH6 3 to 18 and a Vortex Viper 1 to 6. The Loophole is much lighter. The Viper has better glass, which is you don't hear that too often. Food for thought. When I was in the market for a 308 Hog gun, I chose the Browning Mark III DBM. Doesn't have a threaded barrel or adjustable gas port. That's why I'm here, America. Indeed. Hog Uprising is coming, man. Get ready. Frank Opank Lyric says, I got a SIG 716 DMR G2 the other day. It's a great gun. That's what that was the other thing. It was the Tread 716, something else. Yeah, it's 8.5 pounds, but it just oozes sturdiness and quality. It does give it consumer confidence. Yeah, I handled one at a shop. It does feel very well made. Very well made. I don't think I've ever seen a bad review on the 716 Gen 2. Everyone loves that gun. Sabine River Authority says, Nothing Fancy literally said he couldn't get a POV for review and had been asking for years. The Revolution, not the Rogue. If you rewatch it, he says he's been trying to get a Revolution DI. I don't know. I don't know why he did the same thing that all the other channels did. That really upset me, honestly. Carl Coburn says, this is my new favorite channel. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. I'll try and make more videos. Leroy at Leroy's says, you seem to be missing the general goal of Ruger. They have a history of taking concepts and making affordable versions of them. Stealing ideas is what they do. It doesn't mean they directly copy. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. That's exactly what they do. They often opt for simple changes to get a similar result. They aren't meant to be the greatest. I don't think they'd like to hear that. They're simply meant to be good enough. Any way you spin it, the SFAR manages to be lighter than a SCAR. Yeah, by like 3 ounces. While coming in at a lower price than most of the rifles in the same class. Oh, Jesus. I just said read more. That is like 5 paragraphs. It's pretty damn impressive in the general scheme of things. The POF is a pound lighter, but is that additional pound really worth over $1,000 more? Yes. Yes. The entire point of the category of rifles is that it's lightweight. So, yeah, dude. If the literal raison d'etre, you know, the entire reason of the rifle is to be a light 308. Yeah, weight matters in that. And a whole pound. Like if the SFAR weighed 57 pounds and the Rogue weighed 56, then yeah, that pound would not mean a big deal. But when we're as low as we are, yeah, an entire pound lighter at that weight range is enormous. It's diminishing returns, but that's how it is in all walks of life. You know, a friggin' Koenig or whatever, some ultra supercar is only, you know, what, 2/10 of a second faster than like a Lambo, but is like 10 times more expensive. That's how it is on the margins, you know, diminishing returns. That's how it works. Most people don't even use all that rail space. Cope. You can make a light work with tape switches, no problem. Yeah, well, that's on the side, not the top. You can definitely figure out an IR setup if you really need to. How? How? Aside from having it at the very tip, how? One of those goobers, no, not goobers. Whatever, those guys who have the Hydra mount. You know, that's the only real way. That's absolute cope to say that the top rail is like, who cares? No. Worst case scenario, just change the rail. Right. A couple $100, you know? It would still likely be a light rifle. And you would still likely pay a fraction of the cost of the pop. You can even switch triggers and still pay significantly less. Yeah, but it's, again, this is all cope on cope on cope. And what I was saying is, you know, is that you got to throw a whole bunch of money into it because the base is not great. As for you saying 2 MOA is inaccurate, historically most DMRs, yeah, I acknowledge that. I that was too far saying 2 MOA is inaccurate. I mean, it is out of distance, but where it matters, no, it's not a big deal. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Most of the second paragraph is mostly just about the accuracy stuff, which I agree with. A lot of people obsess over this. These are not. Neither of these guns are meant to be precision long-range rifles. They're battle rifles, really. And for battle rifles, they are plenty accurate. Both of them are. Both of them are. The shooter says this video is great entertainment. That's it. This video is great entertainment, period. That's it, period. I can't read your tone, man. I don't know what you're saying there. I mean, I could take it as like, this video is great entertainment. That's it. You know. Or it could be angry, like you said. Like, I don't know, man. As opposed to what? It's not edutainment. Great entertainment. Like I'm a clown? Like I amuse you? That's fine. What's up, girls? Not chickens. What's up, girls? How you doing? I'll stick with my Saint Victor 308. A couple people did bring up the Saint. That came out after the Rogue, so I didn't really... I'd already made my purchase, you know what I mean, when the Saint came out. But people seem to like that one. So, oh wait, I don't have internet here. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad if you're happy with your purchase, if you like that Saint, rock it, man, rock it. That's cool. All things loud. All save people who are considering watching this some time. He rambles about how he loves his Rogue and how the SFAR sucks and will eventually break, all the while he never shows one because he doesn't have one. That's correct. What's up? That's correct. I'm not spending $1,000 on a gun I don't want. What's up? I don't have any food. Chickens are so great, guys. Get chickens if you can. He uses one test from another guy's channel as a substitute for experience behind the gun. I'm not saying, I'm just, you know, you trust other people's testing methodology or you don't. I'd expect this type of video from a guy who vapes. Touche, man. Touche. That's fair enough. I explained to him, I said, you know, I smoked for 30 years, and I was starting to get a lot of chest pains, like heart pains, that kind of thing. So I just had to come off a cigarette. That's all it is. It's not. I'm not that guy. I don't. Anyways. Maybe less alcohol next time. True and real, man. I was drunk. I haven't had a drink in a month. You'll be happy to know. You may feel your gun is being neglected, but that doesn't mean the two guns cannot coexist. True. Some people can't justify spending twice as much. Absolutely true, man. And always remember that it's just the internet, so don't let your feelings get hurt. Cheers. Cheers to you. Prost. I'm not getting my feelings hurt at all. That's fine. But that's a accurate comment. I had drank too much. You are right. I must say that the Saint says, I must say that your review on your gun versus the SFAR was completely biased. Yes, it's true. Since you only showed your paper targets after the fact, lending a little doubtful credibility, and the SFAR to make the comparison was totally absent. Yeah, I don't have one. I'm not buying a gun I don't want just to, like, add a little bit of credibility. Because my claims aren't in any, like, there's none of my claims would be changed by having it, because I'm not, like, saying anything. I mean, again, it's just, I used other people's accuracy, I guess. So, like, maybe my accuracy would be different with it, I guess you're saying. That's possible. But I'm just not, I'm not spending $1,000 on a gun I don't want. I don't know what to tell you. Sorry. I guess you haven't seen the comparison video by Revive Outdoors where the Rogue doesn't work. I hadn't. At the time of making that, I had not seen that video. But then I saw that comment and I went and checked him out, and that guy was having a lot of issues, you know? And yeah, it's how it is with these. Just like with the SFAR, some people get one that runs like a top, and some people get one that just will not run at all, like Hop from TFB. His SFAR would not run, you know? So it's just how it is when it's a new format. To say the Rogue is better just because it's more expensive is silly. Obviously, I didn't say that. It's got nothing to do with it's got nothing to do with the price. It's just a better product. And therefore, it is more expensive. I never said the Rogue is better because it's more expensive. That's an absurd thing to say, sir. All right. Revolution is the better of the two. Yeah. Between that and the SFAR, yeah, I would take a Rogue over a Revolution. What's that side charging unit on that Rogue? It is the Devil Dog Concepts side charger. And they actually just came out, I'm on their email list, they just came out with one specifically for AR-10s. The one that I have on there is actually the AR-15 size thing, because the Rogue is an AR-15 sized gun. It's not actually an AR-10. AR-10s are actually very big. But Devil Dog Concepts just came, like 2 weeks ago, just came out with a actual proper AR-10 308 rated size edition of their product. And I've had no issues with mine, so I'd recommend it. If you have a straight up AR-10 sized AR-10 and you want that side charger, Devil Dog Concepts has one for you now. So check it out. SFAR doesn't have a drilled and pinned gas block or heavy buffer tube. Keys for a battle rifle. Get a Springfield Victor 308. That's Saint. Again, people seem to like their Saint. A couple guys that have mentioned it. The best gun in the world. Lol. Okay, buddy. It is. Deal with it. I actually thought this was satire first. No. You spent all that money on a rifle and then put that terrible paint job on it and cheap junk? How dare you? My wife and I slaved for like 10 minutes over that paint job. Come after me all you want. Come after Pop all you want. You leave the paint job out of it. Alright? It's a great paint job. Thank you. As far as Ruger, they make reliable, strong firearms. You overpaid for a designer rifle. Get over it. I have no issue. You know how you do know. I hate when people say that. You do know, or you do realize. It's like awful. You do know how supply and demand works, right? Ruger's pumping these out left and right. Availability on the market with mass-produced items drive down costs. They are a much larger company than what you're comparing it to. Yeah, that's why their cost is low, not because it's supply and demand. They just have the infrastructure. I'm also confused by the fact that you called Ruger commie right in your thumbnail. You don't get more American than Ruger Firearms. I'm just making a joke, man. It's just, that's all it was. Because that thumbnail, I just took screenshots of each company's promotional material. Like, that's how Ruger, I didn't make that image. That's Ruger's promo, and it's bright red. So I just, you know, it's just a joke, man. Sorry if you feel the need to try to talk yourself into not having buyer's remorse for paying more money because something arguably better came along, but hey, that's life. And dude, it's in no way better, in not one single way. If you take price out of it, it's inferior to the Rogue in literally every aspect. Construction, accuracy, like in every single way, the Rogue is a superior gun. It's more expensive, but I'm not coping with that. I want more of them. I want 3 more of them. I'm not. I might as well do this. So cope, because there's like 10 people saying the same kind of thing. Guys, cope is what you're all doing. When your whole, you know, just as good brigade. That is cope. Cope is making excuses for something because you're, you know, invested in it. I'm not making excuses for the Rogue. I'm singing its praises. I think it's a quality product in every way. I'm not excusing anything. I'm not like, well, I mean, you know, the trigger sucks, but that's okay because I would just be throwing an aftermarket trigger in there anyway, obviously, you know, so that I don't expect the trigger to be good. Or that guy earlier, like, you don't need that top rail. You can get around that, but you know, there are ways to do IR setups without that. That is cope, literally. All right, like the just as good that you're doing, that is cope. Made an hour-long video ranting about your rifle while stroking it like Gollum, saying how precious it is. It's true. I do love that gun. How would you re-evaluate the AR-10 Diamondback? I've never fired it. I don't know. I've never shot it. I've always. I'm pretty sure nothing is the only video I ever saw on it. Ruger. This guy's correcting my grammar. Ruger S.F.A.R. not S-FAR. I didn't say S-FAR, so I don't even know who he's like. They're both, John Collins, they're both in the same weight class. In the same weight class, yeah. They're both similar build quality, about the same exact materials. Do the research. Ruger can do machine work for less because they're in way more markets. Got way more money coming in. Yeah, they're making theirs in volume, not brand marketing and fanboy hype. You are letting emotions dictate your words because it's not facts. No, I'm not. You are. Fanboy hype. I think I'm the only person on the in the world like juicing up the Rogue. I don't see any, so I don't know what fanboy you're talking about because hype, like I don't see anyone else talking about this gun. Similar build quality, same exact materials. I don't know about that, dude. I really don't. Kevin Grief, so you like it? I do. Yes, I do. Griffin House says triggered. Dean Kahn says ramble, 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 ramble. Tried your channel for the first time on this video, but I had to move along because I have other stuff to do. Just go do your stuff. Edit your thoughts down to about 15 minutes, maybe. No, I'm not gonna do it. This is how I want to do it. I will take the Ruger SFAR and $3,000 worth of ammo and training, and you outshoot you any day of the week. Well, you're assuming I'm a bad shot. I'm not. But yeah, I mean, I suppose, like, technically, if you, I mean, yeah, the guy who has $1,000 more ammo, in like a coldly logical vacuum, like your 1,000 rounds of training could be done shittily, like you might be training poorly, you know, but sheer numbers wise, yeah, you're probably right. Sucker Free Boss says, I've seen nothing but jams from Pop. Oh, there are a lot. Again, I really think it's that people who are very, very happy with their purchase rarely make a video. It's like most reviews on Amazon are negative, right? Because when people feel cheated by a product or it doesn't perform, then they complain. People don't. It's the same like the stats on armed citizens stopping crime, right? You don't go report to the cops, hey, a thing almost happened, but I took care of it. Like you hear bad news more often because that's just the nature of humanity, you know. I've seen nothing but jams from POV. I don't think they have it figured out as good as they think. I mean, I don't know how well they think they have it figured out. There's plenty of testimonies on YouTube of the POV double feeding and all types of nonsense. There are. There's also as many for the SFAR. For their money they're asking, it should be a dependable rifle. So that's an issue I have. Like, Nutton makes the same kind of statement in several of his videos. He says, like, you know, this expensive gun should be able to run steel ammo. You know, if I'm paying $5,000 for a gun, it should be able to run any bullet I can fit in there. It's not how it works. That's like saying your Lamborghini should be able to run on 87 unleaded octane. It's just designed at tighter tolerances. You can't just dump shitty gas in a very what's up, girls? Higher machines that have higher tolerances, tighter tolerances, I should say. Sometimes need specialty fuel. It's just how it is. I don't know how else to say it. A couple people agree with that guy. That's fine. I guess that's it for comments. I'm outside, so I can't like further expand. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, yeah, I think that's the main things I wanted to address. A lot of people saying I'm coping. I'm not. You're coping because you bought a gun that you think is just as good, and it's not. But it can. But it's about application and about like what that one guy said. I got $1,000 more that I can put into bullets and training, and I'm going to outshoot you. And that's the most important thing, for sure, is how well can you actually perform with it. If it's not just a save queen, if it's something that you actually are using or are building, hoping that you never have to use it, you know, because you know, the Chinese took the port of LA or something like that. It's splitting hairs. It is absolutely splitting hairs, and both guns will be completely fine to do the job of spitting bullets out the front. What else? The Saint. Apparently, a lot of people like the Saint. A couple of people liked the video, and a couple of people didn't like the video, and that's fine. Thanks for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this, and who knows? Maybe one day I will buy an SFAR just for shits and giggles. That's pretty much it. Yeah, I think that's about it. All right. I have glasses on because I got LASIK in the past month. That's what's going on. So thank you everyone for watching. I really appreciate your time, and enjoy your SFARs.